What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Brother Peel podcast. And 1/3 of the team of City will be joining us here in February. We're still in the prelim season, building up anticipation for it. But I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Check me out here on this channel, and let me go ahead and let my brother introduce himself.
What's happening, y'all? LAL Movement. Subscribe or die trying. Let's just have some fun today.
All right. So you have brought us a very interesting topic today, right? What are we talking about today?
Swirling down, but leveling up. Interesting.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
What does that mean? What, for those who don't know, what is a swirler? So, because there's some people who don't know, what is a swirler?
Somebody who purposely seeks to date interracially. And it seems like, if you're a black woman, you're looking to date white men predominantly, then maybe Hispanic, then maybe Asian. And, black men are somewhere beneath the abyss of your dating choices. But you have high expectations of these black men, but these other men, not so much.
Okay. Now, why do you think that black women are looking to date, those particular groups of sisters? There are certain content creators that kind of push the narrative. And then you also have because we're talking about the level up. So we talk about swirlers. What is the definition of leveling up, in your opinion?
It's supposed to be hypergamy, but it's coming across as trying to get the best gold digging bag that you can get. So now leveling up means get somebody with a whole lot more than you and, milk them dry and be happy that you're doing it. But, shenanigans.
All right. So now we have those definitions. Why are we talking about, swirling down but leveling up?
Well, because it seems some of these ladies have this thing where their expectations of black men are somewhere beyond Jupiter, but their expectations of non-black men are somewhere below an anthill. So it's funny because you could swirl, bro. You could explore your options. Interesting. How nobody has ever asked these swirlers, how exactly are you going to explore your options? That would mean other people have to approach you, right? Because you ladies are not going to go out approaching men, right? Or are you telling me that when you're not swirling, you're supposed to be approached, but when you are swirling, you're going to approach people? And furthermore, what I mean by swirling down is, how much of a baller do you have to be if you're white? Not that much. You've seen it on YouTube. Guys will come out, could you stop worshiping me for being white? Guy could be built like Peter Griffin, but he white. Guy could look like Al Bundy, but he white. I need a high value man. A man at least makes 6 figures. Then you turn around, you dating the white bartender from Shameless. Doesn't matter. Why? Because he's white. Okay. All right. I need to date a black man who's at least 6 feet tall. Oh, okay. The guy you dating is maybe a half inch taller than Michael J. Fox. And see, I've seen this too many times. You go out in public, she's dressed to the nines, he's wearing, some Wranglers and an old t-shirt and maybe some Vans or something. And she's just happy to be with him. Like, you realize, where y'all going? Oh, we going to Taco Cabana. Why you in heels and a whole dress that would be, like you was going to the opera or something. I'm dating up. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, and it's funny how you wouldn't take care of a man. No, not no black man, but you will pay a white guy's bills because he's a white guy. You leveling up, and I've seen this with women of other races too. I've got a white man, and my family pays for the house, and they're paying for the car. And how long you been with this dude? You know, this guy didn't quit 17 times in a row.
So let me ask you this: Do you think that black women, or let me say certain black women, because obviously I'm just dealing with the black women who do the swirling. Do you think that they give, or women who are open to dating white men? Because you have some women that still date brothers, they will date black. They are open to dating other races. Do you think that they're going to give this guy of the benefit of the doubt, white?
Absolutely, because
why? But why do you think that?
Because mentally, when you listen to him, it's set up for them to do that. When they think black man, he's got 14 kids by 17 women, 32 felonies, 15 gold teeth, a pit bull, a dog fighting ring. He hasn't even graduated the 7th grade. He still could come out of prison and be a linebacker for the Chargers. He's a woman beater. And, he's a sex addict and an habitual weed smoker. And then when you just meet another guy of another race, he's a good man because, he puts in cable. Oh, so once you go from this to this, it's a step up because your immediate thought of a black man is like he a janitor in hell or something. Like, it don't make sense. But that's my take on it.
Let me say this. Yeah, I'm here. I've lived, just like you in the African American community, for certain times, right? And I've also had the opportunity to live last year in Uganda for 11 months, and I had a really, really, really great time. And I've never been to West Africa, but I do know there's some whites there. But in East Africa, I believe whites are more prevalent, especially like in Kenya. In Uganda, there's quite a bit of whites. And I got to see the exchange between, white people as white foreigners living in Uganda and me as a Black American living in Uganda. Now, let's talk about with, interacting with women, not even interact, sexual basis or anything like that. One of my favorite restaurants in Kampala is a place called Cafasiri. I do like Cafasiri a whole lot. It's, one of my better restaurants. I go there to Acacia Mall quite regularly. And, I would see white men come in, and this is me come in, and, even with the black waitresses, I wouldn't notice that, that the white person would get a little bit more quicker treatment, more smiles. And when I'm at Cafeteria in Acacia, I'm spending maybe like $500 a month at that restaurant. I always tip good. Everybody knows that, here's the guy from America that has money. He tips very well. But still, I was, it was kind of ingrained in their mind that this white person was a little bit more important. I had that happen to me in South Africa too. I think that what a lot of black women feel is, not a lot, but there's definitely some, that the white man can not only elevate her, it's not so much about money, because a black man, and let me kind of go back with that. In Africa, if you're a black man and you're intelligent, that does have a lot more. There's definitely like less restrictions on you. And in Black America, if you're a black man that is intelligent, it can be sometimes looked as you're in a box, right? Because you're supposed to be a little bit more swag. You're supposed to be a little bit more this or that. If I'm gonna date a black guy, you kind of have some restrictions. If you happen to be intelligent, you're gonna have to be a little bit hood, kind of like like Umar Johnson can be intelligent, but he's able. He has that street appeal, right? So you kind of have to be like the hood professional, a little bit more or less. The black man can't really just be the academic guy, the smart guy. He's kind of the guy that's a nerd, and sisters kind of respect him. But what is interesting though is I've seen it both in Africa and even in America that when the white guy shows up like that and he's the nerd and he might be the geek, he might have a hard time getting that lot of that kind of woman in the white community, but he can come over to the black community and get a really attractive looking black woman. And in the black man, that's the equivalent of him is saying, well, I would never have a chance with her, and I'm exactly like him, but he's the geek but he could get with her. I think that black women also allow white men a lot less restrictions to be themselves. It's very uncommon. I mean, obviously we have black men who like anime. We have black men who like comic books. We have black men who like, all types of things, that are out there to be deemed uncool. Okay. In our community, maybe if it's different sorts of music, country music or rock music or heavy metal music. And then, if a black man likes those sorts of things, he's going to get a lot of pushback, but a black woman will then, that might be a swirler. She will open up her let's explore the horizons, right? You're a white man, so it's okay for us to go there with you. Now I want to kind of address your point with regards to the leveling down, because see, black men have a lot of restrictions on them. Typically, don't get me wrong, not every black woman is the same. We understand that, but the black man, if you're the academic guy, you're going to need to have, some money, some sort of charisma, some sort of game. Black women, typically have a lot of, the expectations that they have in brothers are things that don't amount to anything, but let's just say you happen to be a guy like that, swag, looks, dress good, things like that. Okay. But the white guy tends to have less restrictions based on the fact that he's white. And that's all he needs to be, is to show up. And maybe that's because, and David Carroll has said, it's not my own idea, that, the potential that the white man has over a black man is that he can give her a mulatto baby and we can't. That's one thing. But I also want to add too, is that having a white person it means that for some sisters, it doesn't matter that what he has, because like if the white guy is average, because let's be honest, white people who deal with black people get more respect in the black community. It's like if you're average white guy, you can go to the black community and get an above average black woman. If you're average white guy, you can go to Africa and get a much above average looking woman. If you're an average guy in America, you necessarily can't go to Uganda and get a beauty queen or anything like that. I don't think it's, but a white guy, his level of entry, his price for entry is almost nothing, and I think that's what black men have pointed out. And at the same time, these sisters are saying that they're leveling up, but then it's not uncommon for them to get a white man who got gold teeth, who's ghetto, white man who's not educated, white man who's not ambitious, a white man who doesn't have a great job. Like, when they talk about leveling up and they interracially date at the same time, I'm not really seeing that the white guys who are, the Harvard guys or the accounting guys or guys like that. I'm more or less seeing the lower middle class or even guys who are in poverty. Like, there's even a YouTuber who's supposed to be a swirler, and she moved some white guy in to the house that was on drugs, and it was ridiculous. I won't mention her name, but what do you have to say about that barrier of entry being lower?
Here's the thing. Sisters they've talked about for years not settling. And swirlers in particular act as though when white guys are settling for you, in general, a person's group is their first choice. So when it comes to our group of women, they're not white people's second choice. As Asian women, they're not white people's third choice. That's Hispanic women. They might not be white men's fourth choice. They might be Middle Eastern women or something like that. But so with sisters, you're the last choice with those guys. So of course, how do you think you're gonna get the idea that you're gonna get the best of the non-black guys when you're not their first choice in the race? You're not their second or third choice in the race if they date outside of their race. Is asinine, for one. And for two, it's weird to say you're going to level up because of quote unquote a baby. But at the same time, you're not going to say anything when people that look more like your significant other and their group starts talking bad about your baby. So you're willing to swirl down and level up to be right into the lion's den of racism because for some odd reason, it's worth it. That, how can I say this? Lack of integrity itself is not going to get you somebody that's on a high level of character, morals, or even finances. Same thing when you're talking about giving people a little bit more space. If a black dude pick you up in a Toyota Corolla for a date, he broke. If a non-black dude pick you up in a Toyota Corolla for a date, you know what? He might be saving his money because he's being smart. In the economic, he's presenting himself as a person who doesn't have to be flashy.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the irony of it is you wind up dating down anyways because that also can be he's just broke.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was a black dude, he would be broke.
Mm-hmm.
Add that to the scenario of you a swirl.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the question. If that's so important to you, without, no disrespect to anybody, but I just got to say this. How come these guys that, forget it.
Go ahead.
Give me 10 fine white men crushing on y'all. Give me 10. See, because the guys that y'all crushing on, they're not, they wouldn't be fine by your standards. When people talk about a beauty standard, there's a beauty standard that goes across the board. These women seem to have a beauty standard in men, what attractiveness is. But see, that ain't an across the board standard whatsoever. He don't have to be over 6 feet across the board by race. He don't have to be athletically built across each race. He doesn't have to be how can I say this, deemed as a mandingo across all races. He don't have to be rich across all races. So when you look at these ladies, what they're willing to accept, you're willing to accept, you're not willing to accept Pookie and Ray Ray, but you're willing to accept Peter and Boo Boo. Doesn't matter. I don't understand it. You can be with a you can see you can swirl up and be with a proud boy who say you could swirl and be sitting in a restaurant saying you hate the niggers with your significant other. See, part of this stuff that keeps coming up is the only people that you can actually attract are people who have the same racist ideologies that you do. And normally, those type of people aren't financially well off. So you could swirl up and still date down because both of you hate these niggas. That's what brings y'all together.
And let me also add to this: is a lot of people, and because even in the as far as African American men in interracial dating, let me just say this, and I'm involved in a lot of the travel communities, because especially we have a lot of brothers that are in the Dominican Republic and Brazil and Colombia and places like that, Philippines. Shout out to Black American Expat, he's a really good brother. But what I found out from certain guys, from what they have told, is eventually wherever you go, there you are. What I mean by that? You are going to attract the person that you are in the irrespective race that you're talking about, or the respective race you're talking about. And a lot of times, when I was coming up in the Black community, I would say, you hear people say, I need to move away from Sacramento, get away from here, time for a new start. Don't get me wrong, at that time, Sacramento didn't have a lot of the resources that it did, but they would go to a bigger city, like Oakland. They would go to a bigger city like Los Angeles. They would go to a bigger city like Atlanta, New York City, something like that. And then you would find out that those people still were not successful, despite being in a bigger city, a city that had the things they wanted. And when you look for sisters, their complaints always, are around the fact that, there's not so many Black men, or you have a lot of Black men that are on the down low. A lot of Black men don't want relationships. So this is the reason why I need to explore my options. And this is a good reason for me to deal with, a white man or deal with another group of men. But the fundamental problem that comes in is that whatever problems that they had in the African American community, they're not exempt from those problems in the other communities. And I could even transpose that to Black men. And we talk about brothers who go to Dominican Republic and set up new communities, brothers who go to Brazil and set up, their own communities. And then they were complaining about Black women, but Black women are not there anymore in those communities. But yet these guys are having the same problems that they had in America. And that has a lot to do with who they were. And a lot of sisters who are looking to swirl, it's like, wherever you go. So what were the problems that kept you, having a man in the Black community are probably the same problems you're going to have with the white man, because you can only fake it so long with him, right? And then obviously the kind of white guys that you're looking for are, you're gonna, if you're a woman that is not, very educated, let's say if you're a woman that, may have a few pounds on her, you're a woman that has a child, and now you're exclusively looking to date white men. Well, then that because a lot of, you're already Black. So if you're Black and you have those, those other things, then you've already limited your pool. Because obviously a white man, if he's going to date a Black woman, that's going to be, not that it won't happen, obviously, but you're gonna have to be somewhat competitive if you want to, because white guys get a lot of love from all groups of women, so they're gonna have those same problems. Like a lot of sisters, they can talk back to Black men. That's a something that they can do and things like that. Other guys of other races tend to not look at that so favorably. They don't tend to deal with the some of the things that we deal with as Black men. And that's going to be the issue. Is like, well, then can you change to a new market that is going to have less tolerance for the behaviors that you could portray in the black community? And the thing is that a lot of sisters, are blaming a lot of the relationship problems on guys. And I know I'm being long-winded, but Summer Walker is a good example. Summer Walker has been complaining about, a lot of black men. She's been complaining about issues she's been having. Why are these niggas count that, you have chosen these? And a lot of times women choose bad men irrespective of the race. If you choose bad black men, then you're going to choose bad white men. And then with black men, if you've been choosing bad black women, then you're probably going to choose bad white women. And I think that it has to do with a person that has a lack of values. Do you and this person have anything that you want to achieve together and things like that? And you're only going to get the kind of person that you can get. And that's not going to change for you just because you're in white America. I mean, even in Poland, I see a lot of brothers and African guys in Poland. They're dealing with those they're dealing with these Polish girls with braids, like, you know what I mean, like they're Polish girls that have blonde weaves and they braid their hair like they're trying to look like what they think are thoughts. And you see these guys that are dealing with white Tatianas who are trying to be black, and that just goes to show, not all the time, but you see it more often. That goes to show you what kind of guys they are. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what's your take on it?
If you weren't willing to compete for your own, why would you step in the ring to compete for somebody else? Not, it doesn't make sense, because those people actually compete. So you mean to tell me you tried to get a hookup, in your own group, and you didn't really want to put in the work to compete to get the people you wanted, but you're going to move to another group, and all of a sudden you're going to outcompete everybody else in that group and everybody else trying to get two people in that group? No. And the same thing with what you're saying about, wherever you go, that's where you are. Like, if you like hood rats, you like hood rats. If you like thugs, you like thugs. Don't, it's not going to change. Even though, and what I mean by it's not going to change, one of the things that people have in common is, if you say you're moving on to, if you're divesting, whatever you're doing, if you're swirling, y'all have a bad habit. You can't leave without still talking about what you left. So obviously, what you got ain't that good. What you're looking to get is not that good, because you keep comparing it to what you left, what you said you didn't want. So you don't really want that stuff either. What you really want is somebody who is everything you couldn't find in your own race in a different race. You want a hood white dude, a hood white chick, a hood Hispanic dude, a hood Hispanic chick. That's what you want. But once you get outside of your own group, and now you dating down, and now you leveling down, really, the best part about it is you kind of shut yourself up, because you can't complain no more. Because a lot of these people aren't going up in value. They're either leveling out, or and getting somebody that they could have gotten their own race that they didn't want, or they're getting somebody beneath that. Because I hate to break the news to you, the cream of the crop in every group are not checking for you. They're not. So, and a lot of y'all know y'all ain't even shooting for that. You trying to, how can I say this? What you're trying to do is get somebody who you feel will be looked at socially as a higher value, even though, in real life, they're lower than the person that you could have been with. So, it's 2021. You're trying to get a 2014 Mercedes-Benz on the dating market because you feel like it's better than a 2020, I don't know, Chevy Impala or Toyota Camry. Because guess what? It's this brand. But it's got 200,000 miles on 100,000 miles. It doesn't matter to you. You just want a brand. You want to be associated with a brand. And even if it's the low level brand, just like the people who go shopping at those high end stores, and you can only afford to buy a belt or some socks, or maybe an on sale T-shirt. That's what you're doing. But you still live where you live. It doesn't make sense. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I agree. I'm here. So, man, that's been a great episode, man. Unless you have anything else you wanted to add to that.
No, I'm gonna go looking for some white chicks tonight because I'm gonna get my swirl on.
All right, guys. So it was a great episode. Guys, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. Check out LAR Movement's channel on the first comment pinned to the top. It's been a great show today. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.